I miss the life I had in Uganda. I enjoyed my work in television. Oh my God. And yes, and then good evening. My name is Mordecai Muriisa. You're watching NBS from the Political Commands.
I'm joined by Mordecai Muriisa. We need to welcome him. He's an National fan, I'm told. Good morning.
Of course, I'm not an National fan. And that's the only person that's going to take me at Sheraton Hotel. I am Mordecai Muriisa.
Here, 19 days into the month of June, halfway the year, out there hoping and wishing that they had tenants who are able to pay. Mordecai, are you paying yours?
I enjoyed the professional and social life I had built in Uganda. Yet political repression creates a profound contradiction. And is the question, what is the value of this professional success and social recognition if they become conditional upon political silence? I enjoyed myself every time I saw my face on the billboard in Entebbe, in places like Chanja. But of what importance is that if all that actually disappears the moment I raise my voice against lawlessness and impunity? What importance is it?
You're watching Mordecai Muriisa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this. This is Stella Nyanzi posted this on the August 9th, 2026. She was writing about Ugandan professionals that have exiled, that have left their country. It's really, really sad, extremely heartbreaking. The increasing number of Ugandans leaving the country amid heightened political tensions raises important questions about the relationship between political dissent, state power, and exile. And that's why I want to put my emphasis, exile. I've had a number of Ugandans asking me, Mordecai, how are you doing? Mordecai, are you going to be shouting on social media every day? Don't you have something to do? Find a job, Mordecai. So I'm going to be explaining here, about my exile life, okay? The most recent prominent case of exiling from Uganda is former Chira municipality member of parliament and professional journalist Ibrahim Semjunganda. His departure adds to the growing list of Ugandans who, for different reasons, have sought safety and refuge outside our country, Uganda, after becoming, and increasingly so, critical of the Museveni criminal regime, and Museveni himself, and Muhoozi Kainerugaba, his son, by extension. We do this, and I do not regret, unapologetically resistant to the evils created and endorsed by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. This phenomenon of exiling people, forcing people into exile, is not entirely new in Uganda. Political exile has historically been associated with periods in which the state has treated dissent as not merely a legitimate political disagreement, but as a threat requiring containment. And you have to realize that, containment here is doing some heavy lifting because containment, how? It is by abduction, torture, maiming, and killing you. And what is particularly troubling today, however, is the apparent breadth of professionals represented among those who have left or spent significant periods outside Uganda. That's where academic, poet, and activist Stella Nyanzi, who herself left Uganda for Germany following sustained confrontation with the Museveni criminal regime, comes in. She recently drew attention to this phenomenon by publishing a list of Ugandans, especially critics who have had to leave the country. Her list includes journalists like myself, lawyers, academics, politicians, writers, judges, teachers, activists, and members of the security establishment. I think I'm going to have to show you there. You can see from Ibrahim Semjunganda, and then Aaron Kiza, then Mama Lina Zedriga. Now, Ibrahim Semjunganda, I'm going to have to mention the professionals, journalist and member of parliament, then Aaron Kiza, a lawyer and a poet, Lina Zedriga, a magistrate, and she's a deputy president of the leading opposition party in Uganda. Then you have Winnie Kiza, who happens to be a teacher and former member of parliament. Then you have Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, the president of the largest opposition political party in Uganda, a musician and former member of parliament. You have Esther Chisache, a judge, and then Isaac Semaka, the president of the Uganda Law Society, and is a lawyer. Enoch Chizito, a lawyer. Danson Kahyana, lecturer and writer. Nicholas Opio, a lawyer. Then Anna Ashaba, a teacher and a writer. She's a poet, I think, as well. And then you have Mordecai Muriisa, your own, a journalist and poet and so many other hats. Then you have Samuel Abwag, a police officer. Solomon Nawiyanda, an activist. Kakwenza Ruchira Bashija, a writer, is a journalist, is a poet, name it. And then you have Eva Basima, a social worker, and then Stella Nyanzi, an anthropologist and a poet, to mention but a few. There's so many, many people who are exiling from their beautiful country. Well, taken together, the diversity of these individuals is significant. This is not simply a story of politicians leaving politics. It potentially reflects a broader phenomenon in which professionals from different sectors perceive political dissent as carrying personal, professional, and physical risks. And this is why I want to explain about my personal cost. I have received numerous questions about whether I miss Uganda. Some people have also expressed concern that given the increasingly entrenched nature of political system in Uganda, Muhoozi probably rising and rising, they may never see me again. That's on a personal level, and I truly understand. The answer is simple. Yes, I truly, truly miss Uganda. I mean, that's the place I've known since I was a child. It has now been 5 years since I left Uganda. During that period, many of my friends and family members have died, while others continue to grow older and face ordinary struggles of life without my physical presence. I wish I would be in company of my granny, amazing, amazing woman, Kobusinje. I really miss her. So exile is therefore carrying a cost that is often absent from the political discussions. Every time I come here to make commentaries, I'm not going to be telling you how much I miss my family and friends. It is not merely geographical displacement. It is also separation from relationships. It is separation from a community. It is a separation from culture and tradition and the ordinary experiences that constitute belonging. That's who I am. Everything you like about me, it is as a result of those things I've mentioned. I miss the life I had in Uganda. I enjoyed my work in television. Oh my God. And yes, indeed, good evening. My name is Mordecai Muriisa. You're watching NBS from the Political Commands.
Now, if I can get even a better plan from any of the guys in the opposition, I would think twice about.
Gino gy'emitwe emikulu egyageesigika. DP yayogedde ku ky'okusimbawo omuntu omu ku bwa president n'abasuubuza mukono bakukuluma.
Here's news that will be music to your ears.
The news. Gano geegeesigika ku 97.7 Record FM ageesigika. Siibyo tyano omulungi atuliriza olukukyena musava kutonze musanvu Record FM. Essaawa ziri 10 ez'akawungeezi kadde kaageesigika mu bujjuvu. Omusomi nze Mordecai Muriisa Martin Jr. Olukiiko lw'abaminisita luyite lu cabinet wano mu nnyaffe Uganda lugamba nti gavumenti ya kuno.
Well, Mordecai, is there a feeling that the general, with all his experience from the army, is the best hand?
I miss my life on radio. I valued my speaking engagements and the opportunity to interact directly with people. I enjoyed the professional and social life I had built in Uganda. Yet political repression creates a profound contradiction. And is the question, what is the value of this professional success and social recognition if they become conditional upon political silence? I enjoyed myself every time I saw my face on the billboard in Entebbe, in places like Chanja. But of what importance is that if all that actually disappears the moment I raise my voice against lawlessness and impunity? What importance is it? A person may have a successful career, a public platform, and a comfortable life, quote unquote, comfortable life, but these become fragile when the exercise of political expression can potentially jeopardize everything else. At that point, the question is no longer simply whether one wants to remain at home. It becomes a question of what one is willing to sacrifice in order to remain there. Remaining in Uganda meant that I had to stay silent. I would see people threatening violence and I had to be quiet. I would see the police or criminal thugs, jackbooted thugs of Muhoozi and Museveni killing people. And I had to hide my commentary in platitudes of, you have to respect the rule of law. No. And this is why I continue speaking out. Exile is not the abandonment of a country. Therefore, the tendency to interpret the departure of political critics as evidence that they have abandoned their country is wrong. I see it extremely differently. Leaving Uganda does not necessarily represent a rejection of Uganda. I've seen Museveni minions and Lucky say, if you left Uganda, please will you shut up? In many cases, actually, it can represent a refusal to surrender one's principles, simply to remain physically present. I wanted to criticize Museveni using a simple concept called freedom of speech. And if you're going to take that away, I would rather remove myself physically from that place, but remain in Uganda. Political exile can therefore produce a paradox. The person may leave the country physically while becoming even more politically engaged with its future, and that's what I'm doing. Continuing to poke the Museveni criminal regime. Distance does not necessarily diminish my attachment to my home, my country, Uganda. In some circumstances, it intensifies it, and that's what it has done to me. For those of you who ask, Mordecai, don't you have anything to do? How about you find another job? Do you know you would be a rich man? I know, but no. For me, the decision to continue speaking about Uganda is rooted precisely in that attachment. I do not criticize the country because I hate Uganda. Don't fall for those lies. I criticize the political establishment, the political system, because I believe Ugandans and the country as large deserve institutions in which citizens can disagree with those in power without fearing that dissent will cost their freedom, their livelihood, their security, or the right to participate in public life. That's what I believe. And these are things I'm, picking from thin air. Absolutely not. These are things that I read from the Constitution of Uganda. I'm pretty much saying, hey, can we actually enjoy the freedoms granted to us by the Constitution? I was inspired by the commentaries of the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi. Says the Constitution of Uganda is the brainchild of the NRM. All I'm saying is, you know what? I want you to respect this document that you drafted. And that sort of sounds like a cursing to Museveni, which is really, really extremely heartbreaking. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might be asking, so, Mordecai, what is the end here of what you're doing? Look, the ultimate objective, therefore, to me is not exile. No. The objective is a Uganda in which exile is no longer necessary for political survival. Yeah. I don't want other people to go into exile to criticize the Museveni criminal regime. No. I do not know when or if I will return home. I don't know whether the political change will occur while I am physically present in Uganda, or while I remain abroad, or while I am alive or dead. But I remain convinced that the political struggle we are engaging in should not be measured solely by physical proximity to the country. I may be far away from Uganda, just like right now I'm speaking from my apartment complex here in the USA, but Uganda has never been away from me. I carry this country here. And I will continue to speak and write with the hope that whether in my presence or in my absence, Uganda will eventually become a country in which no citizen has to choose between speaking the truth and remaining safely at home. You don't have to choose between that. Look, even if I was saying all the wrong things about Uganda, I respect another concept in that constitution called due process. There should be, there's a legal way of how you should arrest me if you accuse me or suspect me of having committed a crime. Not sending jackbooted thugs from the Special Force Command to abduct me, torture me, and kill me. No. And that's what I'm standing against. So I might die, who knows? But I hope my works will lay a foundation for a better country in the future. So, enough about me. Let me know what you think. I'll continue using my platform. What you do is, in order to support me, you can just subscribe to this feed, Mordecai Muriisa Live on YouTube. And on Facebook, you can follow and the X platform and TikTok. And you can actually become a channel member on YouTube by hitting the join button and subscribe on Facebook as well. Then you'll be able to give me a tip at the end of every month to continue this work I am doing. And probably I may be able to make a lot of money like you guys want me to make. Mordecai, don't you think you should be finding another job so you can save more money? I don't care about money, really. All right, enough about me. Let's continue fighting. Aluta continua.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Muriisa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.